Jake, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. My name is Jake Michael Singer. I'm an artist from South Africa and I live in Istanbul. At Art de Egypt, at the pyramids, I'm showing a large work called We Will Meet Again in the Sky. It's part of a larger series of works called murmurations, which, as I'm sure you know, Chris, is a murmuration is when birds flock together, creating what is known as emergent behavior. And this emergent behavior is apparent in schools of fish, neural networks, star clusters.
Yeah, human behavior.
Yeah. And this bird that I'm showing is I liken to the bird Bennu, which is in fact sort of the template or archetype for the phoenix, which is symbolizing renewal, rebirth, the rising sun.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. And, what was interesting, being here with other artists is our different interpretation, our different kind of responses of being at this most sacred site. But it's like looking through a crystal through the different facets of a whole. And I was, it's a great thrill to be asked to do something here, but I was quite humbled as well because, it's been a long-standing ambition of mine. But in my work, Quadrivium is the ancient study of maths, astronomy, geometry, and sound, which all are factors of the pyramids. And so I've been looking at the Great Pyramid specifically, and so all aspects are taken from the numbers, the geometry, the ratios, even the fact that, the Great Pyramid is within a meter of the center mass of the planet. The coordinates are within 20 decimal points the speed of light. So the pyramids are part of a much bigger, more and cosmic, almost like a clock, like the solar system as a clock. So I've tried to distill everything, all the numbers, all the ratios, all the considerations in the design. There's nothing that doesn't need to be there. It's all based on and distilled out of the essence of the pyramids, which is the awe of the pyramids.
Yeah, I think actually in a way, I'm interested in this random like murmurations or emergent behavior because it's mathematics, but it tends to be abstract. And in a way, I've kind of shied away from actually looking at the numbers. But it seems like you've really delved into the geometry and the specifics, and
it's kind of like the only way I knew how to approach it because it's often said that this site is all about the numbers, and there's so much mystery surrounding the pyramids that is just to look at, in the physical realm that we live in, which is just one octave of reality. The Great Pyramid is a monumental object that has so much purpose behind it, a lot of which we have kind of no understanding. But it's just my response to that has been to tune into it. And if we think that everything is frequency and vibration, is to tune into it and to distill it back to its basic, the numbers, underneath reality is a matrix of numbers, the golden ratio.
Mathematical sets.
Yeah, exactly. It's
And so tell me more about how your work works, because I know it's like very technical. It looks very scientific. I'm very curious about it.
Well, it is. And, all my, my work is very, much about taking the viewer into the present moment, into stillness. I think that stillness is a portal to the divine, and almost, what I'm doing here with Quadrivium is like an experimental work. It is like a Tesla experiment or something. It is very scientific, but, and it's, as I say, to do with frequency and vibration, to this object, which is all derived from ancient wisdom and all the coding that's in the Great Pyramid, into an object that has a certain stillness to it or a harmonic resonance. So you just put your attention onto it. And okay, there's been a lot of people here today, but if you're there as the sun's going down in front of this object, it puts you into a meditative state because you're not thinking, you're in the present moment.
Wow. So it's really technological. And I often wonder about the pyramids. It's like connection to technology. And I also think about culture and its connection to technology and how the two are always interdependent. Yeah, and also the things you were saying about the mathematics of it. I heard that the Great Pyramid is correlated to true north, and it's off by 1/360.
So precise.
It's just crazy, even just to lay a structure like that, and then it's off by even almost seems like the error was planned. Yeah, and I'm really interested in these like weird errors, and I'm kind of afraid of how exactly precise everything is. And I was talking to an Egyptian collector here. She was talking about all these mysteries about the Great Pyramid, and it's just terrifying. The more you hear about it, the more terrified I become. The
less we know, the more we look into it, the less we know. It's it's mind-boggling.
What do you think it was? What do you think?
I don't. Sometimes you think that we've devolved since then. It just shows such an understanding of physics and reality and the metaphysics and this is thousands of years ago. And evidenced by it's there in front of us. But for me, a lot of my inspiration comes out of meditation. We found out this morning that we're both Vipassana meditators.
We are,
which is really interesting. And it's definitely been a part of my journey in my work as an artist. Is about looking towards stillness, and that meditation and the practice of meditation and getting still is something that, and especially as the world is right now more than ever, we're bombarded with information, but I wonder about, the mystery of the pyramids that inspires me. I mean, it brings up so many questions that just don't need to know the answers. But just to have present. A sense of awe about it, is I think we don't question things enough.
The stillness is interesting for me as it's so important. And I often think about like opposites, stillness and motion. And especially when I was developing this series of work, I definitely had a lot of anxiety. So that's where I think there's like so much dramatic motion. But I always want to place something into the world that when somebody looks at, they're just completely amazed. And it seems you've done something similar where they're just completely amazed and they're just brought closer to a reality that is not quite, exactly. A reality that is just not quite ordinary, but yet it is.
Yeah, I think it's often like entering, the space between thought. You're experiencing something, but and in that experience, you're not worrying about what that person said to you or how you're going to pay the rent, or you're in the present moment. And you're in tune with something, and if that tune is something that's very pure and very harmonic, then that's a good place to be. And we kind of think, all too often the world being the state that it's in, looking out there for our solutions, but the refuge is inside. And what we're looking for, if we can turn the attention inside, there's a piece there that is, divine.
Yeah, it is, and it really is like. Right now, in the present moment, that you can dissolve past anxiety and future excitement or future anxiety. A lot of my meditation practice, actually, I've started looking at people like Thich Nhat Hanh. I don't know if you know him.
I do. I went to Plum Village.
Oh, actually. Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. When did you go?
It was over New Year's Eve, January just gone.
Wow. Cool. That must have been great. No, Tay died like maybe a year before.
Yeah, not long ago. That's right. Yeah. And he spent a lot of his time there, and the one in France, and the master.
Yeah, great master. And I often, I've been living in Turkey, and there's a practice of Sufism. There's a kind of yogic practice that broadly describes this. The name is going away from me, but it's to think about a friend, a person that brings you closer to maybe the extraordinary. And Tay is always someone that I keep in my mind like that, to be able to access stillness very quickly. And do you know Ajahn Brahm?
No, tell me.
He's amazing. He's a teacher from Australia, but he's practicing in the Thai forest tradition. Also an amazing orator, because very few people in these practices can really express insight. Yeah.
I think sometimes I think, if there was a kind of message in my work, it's to bring people to meditation and to get people to meditate through a work that they don't even know they're meditating, but they are so in the present moment and they are so tuned to things. I use laser in my work, single frequencies of light, very pure forms of light. You put your attention onto it and becomes a meditation.
Yeah.
And you can induce that, and you can induce it with a lot of people.
Interesting.
And it gets them into a meditative state, whereas they realize afterwards that they feel good. They're rebooted, and that's because they've just been in the present moment. And we don't spend much time. We spend time, there's so much distraction and our smartphones and, that we haven't evolved quick enough to deal with the onslaught of information. And if there was a theme in my work, stillness and frequency and vibration, what a place to do it than here in Giza. I mean, it's all about frequency and vibration in my mind.
It is. Technology should be driving us towards stillness. It should be driving us towards meditation, deeper understanding, wisdom. And so let's hope it gets us there, But I don't know if
I hope it's quick.
Yeah, because I think the juice of excitement, the sweetness of excitement is too overpowering. Stillness is difficult. Stillness is not easy. It needs to be practiced.
Yeah, that's why they say the practice of meditation. You need to practice it.
Yeah.
But when I got here, it was amazing because kind of worked out the work. There's a lot of engineering involved, a lot of CAD drawings, a lot of fabrication of different components. And it wasn't until I got here and my team had installed the piece and all together and everything worked. It was a real moment to see that at the same time aligned with the Great Pyramid. It was... I'll never forget that.
Amazing.
It was, pinch myself as to what is real, but then what is reality? And I like questioning that, question everything.
Yeah. What is reality? I always think about that. And especially the fact of the pyramids existing, certainly demonstrates to us that there is another architectural reality, design reality, technological reality, philosophical, spiritual, even hierarchical reality. Yeah. So it is. And I think as artists, that's what we're doing. We're questioning reality. We're trying to propose a new version of it, always.
And to celebrate it, because, we can take these things for granted but really we're participating in this thing, life, and it's a miraculous thing.
Yeah.
And, to be awake to that and to respect it.
Chris, thanks. Nice to get to know you. I'm sure we'll continue a friendship. I'm excited to keep our conversation going. I haven't had the opportunity to experience your artwork, but I really can't wait. And I'm going to access a state under your work, certainly.
Oh, likewise. Thank you, Jake, because it's been, we've both been drawn here, haven't we? There's 7 billion people on the planet. We're here, and what a privilege to do something here. Yeah. And it's, it's part of a journey, isn't it? So, we're on. Let's go to the next level.
Cool. Thanks, Chris.
Cool.